So the team and I are here in Oxfordshire digging up dinosaur tracks. We have these massive sauropod tracks. This is the third year we've been excavating these. We've had some great fun hammering out the tracks, using the pressure washer to blast out some of the mud at the other end. Unfortunately, at this end, everything's really hard and like concrete in the middle. So people are really wellying it with hammers to try and get the sediment out so we can see where the tracks are. We've got photogrammetry of the site, both close range and drone photogrammetry. And when we get back to the lab, we'll be able to piece together how the dinosaurs were moving and interacting with their environment and each other.
We have been excavating dinosaur tracks, sauropod. They are one large one coming across this way, another even longer coming north-south. There is quite a number of students doing this. We've got Rebecca sweeping, which is very useful. Yeah, a lot of it's just been hammering out the outlines so the students can find them or marking them with spray paint. Most exciting find for me is probably the track that has been cut in half by a fault. So you can see the underside where it's been excavated down. You can see how the sediment beneath it's been deformed, which is really cool.
It's been really exciting. I think seeing how vast the trackways are has been really interesting for me because I've only ever really seen like individual photos of footprints. So being at this track site and seeing how they all intertwine and cross over, I feel like you can get an insight into the animal's movement, which is really cool.
So right now we're trying to excavate one of the footprints. Here it's like a crossing of a two trackway, and this track in particular might have the exact same crossing, so it's quite interesting. The coolest track I think will be at the back there where we see the enormous rim and the formation. It looked like they've been done just 30 minutes ago, which is pretty exciting.
Once we're back in the lab, we can analyse the data we collected. The first step is to produce a digital model like this using photogrammetry. This model of the track surface was made from about 3,000 photos taken with a mirrorless camera at head height, of me walking up and down the trackways, taking loads of pictures. You can see the scale we're dealing with here. That scale bar's 10 meters. We're actually looking at a lower res version of the model because the full resolution mesh couldn't be rendered all at once with the computers I had available. And this is potentially the track maker that left those tracks. This is Cetiosaurus, a Middle Jurassic sauropod known from Oxfordshire. We can take the skeleton, we can bring it into a digital environment, and we can scale it accordingly. We know that foot length is about 1/4 of hip height, so we take track length, multiply it by 4, and get a hip height of about 3.6 meters. Once we know the hip height, and we measure the stride length from the tracks, we can calculate speed. But if we want to know about the footfall patterns, we need to look at the tracks themselves. Here, a manus has been distorted by the pes, and we can use that information to simulate possible timings of the manus-pes interaction. Producing simulations that look like the tracks give us confidence. With that, we now have an idea of the gait and footfall patterns of the animal as it walked along the trackway. But what else can we tell? Well, here two sauropod trackways cross. And if we look at a higher resolution model of this area, you can see there's these weird impressions that don't quite make sense. If we animate the model to hit those footfalls, we find that we have to turn the sauropod. Maybe it's looking behind it. Maybe it's interacting with the animal that's crossing its path. It's hard to tell, but it's certainly stopped moving straight forwards at that point. And so here's the finished thing. We now have rough footfall patterns, speed, and behaviour to go with this potential track maker. The tracks from Ardley are incredible. A 220-metre sauropod trackway tells us all kinds of things about how this animal moved.
Yes, I'm knackered, I'm struggling, I can't wait for it to be over.